Climate-neutral materials and products are industrial basic materials that are produced by emitting no CO2 or other greenhouse gas emissions during the production process. In fact, in some cases, certain products can even sequester carbon during their production, such as wood or bio-based plastics, for example. The main materials today that emit CO2 are products like steel, cement, aluminium, and basic chemicals, often used to produce plastics. These emissions account for about 15% of the entire global source of GHG emissions, and the same amount in Europe. So to decarbonise these materials, we need to deploy new technologies and processes, and we need to use an increasing amount of recycled materials to produce climate-neutral materials. There are already some climate-neutral and circular materials available in the market. These often account for niche markets, and so the challenge today is to scale up these markets significantly to decarbonise the relevant value chains. What companies say is that they often face significant barriers to actually scale up their supply of low-carbon materials and products with low-carbon materials. And there are several reasons for those barriers. One barrier is that the cost of climate-neutral or circular materials is often significantly higher than the cost of high-carbon conventional products. Another barrier is often consumers or supply chain managers can be reticent to buy more sustainable products because they're not familiar with them or they're concerned about the qualities of the product. And then finally, we have a problem around the transparency of the actual CO2 content of the products themselves. So some companies would like to buy low carbon inputs for their manufacturing, but they just don't have good data on what the true CO2 content of the different competitors' products is, and therefore they don't know how to make those choices. At EU level and at member state level in Europe, we need a policy package that seizes the opportunity we have in the next 5 to 10 years. In the next 5 to 10 years, a large share of the EU's assets in heavy industry will be up for reinvestment because they're quite old assets. And so we have to use that opportunity to invest into more sustainable solutions for the future. To do this, we need a policy package that incentivizes the demand for climate-neutral and circular basic materials and products. And there's a few elements to that. So one element is familiarizing purchasers with climate-neutral and circular materials. So this can be done through the creation of lead markets, which can include public procurement, often by national or subnational governments, but guided by EU minimum requirements. It can be done by improving the quality of data on embedded carbon in the products that are bought by supply chains. And it can also be done by putting limits on embedded carbon on final products like buildings, vehicles, and packaging. Doing that could be done, for example, through the Sustainable Products Initiative, and including through the eco-design and energy performance in buildings directives, which are key policy tools to accomplish these goals. If the EU can seize this moment in the next 5 years to put in place this clean industry package, it would do an enormous amount to protect jobs in Europe, to clean up local pollution, to increase our self-sufficiency in terms of raw materials and basic resources. And it would also, I think, help to provide a long-term competitive advantage for our industrial companies. So there's a lot to be gained from an effective policy package from this European Green Deal.